Taylor's version. And pardon me for needing the words for these things, but I'm old, right? So old memories rush over my mind just now, of faces and friends of the past, of the happy time when life's dream was all bright, the clear sky of youth was overcast. Very dear those memories, they've clung round my heart, and bravely withstood time's rude shock. But not one is more dear or more hallowed to me than the face of that old school clock. 'Twas a quaint old clock with a quaint old face, and great iron weights and chain. It stopped when it liked, and before it struck, it creaked as if it were in pain. It had seen many years, and it seemed to say, I'm one of the real old stock. To the youthful friar who with reverence looked on the face of that old school clock. How many times have I laboured to sketch that yellow and time-honoured face, with its basket of flowers, its figures and hands, and the weights and the chains in their place. How oft have I gazed with admiring eye as I sat on the wooden block, and pondered and guessed at the wonderful things that were inside the old school clock. What a terrible frown did that old clock wear to the truant who had timidly cast an anxious eye on those merciless hands that for him had been moving too fast. But its frown soon changed, for it loved to smile on the thoughtless, noisy flock. And it creaked, and it whirred, and it struck with glee, did that genial, good-humoured old clock. There was going to be a violin solo here. She didn't show up. You can imagine it. Just shake it off there. Well, the years had passed, and my mind was filled with the world, its cares and ways, when again I stood in that little school where I passed my boyhood days. My old friend was gone, and there hung a thing that my sorrow seemed to mock, as I gazed with a tear and a softened heart at a new-fashioned Yankee clock. 'Twas a gaudy thing with bright painted sides, and it looked with insolent stare on the desks and the seats and on everything old, and I thought of the friendly air of the face that I missed, with its weights and chains all gone to the auctioneer's block. 'Tis a thing of the past, never more shall I see, but in memory that old school clock. 'Tis the way the world, old friends pass away, and fresh faces rise in their stead. But still mid the din and bustle of life, we cherish fond thoughts of the dead. Yes, dearly those memories, they cling round my heart, brave against time's rude shock. but not one is more dear or more hallowed to me than the face of that old school clock.